This video will outline the pump and front cover methods that can be used to change the oil and filter on a ProStarS4 Indy Adventure snowmobile. For optimal performance, always use Polaris recommended fluids as described in your owner's manual. Ensure the snowmobile is on a flat level surface and that the transmission is in neutral. Set the parking brake and remove the key. Next, remove the left side panel by turning the 3/4 turn latches. Pivot the panel away from the sled and pull out to remove. Then, remove the clutch spreader tool from the panel trim, and then spread the trim apart as needed to access the driven clutch. Continue by releasing the retention point on the lower trim panel to access the spare belt holder fastener. Continue by turning the latch on the belt holder to release the holder from the retention point. Then, remove the fastener and nut and pull the holder away from the sled to release the retention point. And remove it from the vehicle. Next, take note of the drive belt direction of rotation. The belt must be installed in the same direction if reusing. Insert the clutch spreader tool into the threaded hole on the driven clutch, and turn clockwise to spread the clutch. If the tool does not turn readily, rotate the driven clutch an additional 1/4 of a turn counterclockwise and try again. Then, carefully walk the belt off the driven clutch and remove from the drive clutch. Removing the belt from the bottom of the driven clutch first can help provide additional clearance. Before continuing, remove the clutch spreader tool. Next, remove the driven clutch mounting fastener and flat washer. Then, pull the driven clutch assembly away from the jack shaft and set aside. Continue by inspecting the jack shaft and driven clutch splines for damage, and replace if necessary. Next, clean the area around the oil cap. Then, remove the oil cap and set the cap aside. Next, clean the area around the oil reservoir drain plug. Also, place a shop rag over the clutch guard or clutches to help protect them from oil. Then, place a drain pan underneath the reservoir. Placing a rag in the bottom of the drain pan will help prevent the splashing of fluid. Then, remove the drain plug and allow the oil to drain completely. Next, clean any dirt or debris from the drain plug, and ensure the sealing surface is free of any burrs, nicks, or scratches. Also, remove the old sealing washer and install a new one on the drain plug. Then, reinstall the oil reservoir drain plug and torque to specification. Then, clean any excess oil around the plug and verify there are no leaks. Next, clean the area around the oil filter and place a rag underneath the filter to catch any spillage. Then, place a drain pan on the floor near the oil filter. Continue by attaching a hose to the adapter spigot, and route the other end to the drain pan. Then, partially loosen the oil filter by turning it counterclockwise and allow it to drain into the pan. Once the oil has drained completely, remove the oil filter from the vehicle. Then, clean the filter sealing surface with a clean, dry shop rag. Before continuing, lubricate the O-ring on the new filter with a film of fresh engine oil and ensure the O-ring is in good condition before installing. Then, install the new filter by hand until the O-ring contacts the sealing surface and tighten one additional turn. Before continuing, remove the hose from the oil filter adapter. Also, remove the shop rags from under the oil filter and on the clutch guard and clutches. Then, clean any excess oil from the oil filter and clutch areas. Next, locate the crankcase drain plug on the bottom of the crankcase. Then, place a drain pan underneath the crankcase drain plug. Continue by cleaning the area around the plug. Next, remove the crankcase drain plug and sealing washer and allow the oil to drain completely. Then, clean any dirt or debris from the drain plug and ensure the sealing surface is free of any burrs, nicks, or scratches. Also, remove the old sealing washer and install a new one on the drain plug. Next, reinstall the drain plug and torque to specification. Before continuing, dispose of the used oil and filter properly at your local recycling center. Once the crankcase drain plug is reinstalled, fill the reservoir with the recommended engine oil. The oil tank will be full after 3 quarts, so the snowmobile must be reassembled and briefly started to pour in more oil. Then, reinstall the oil cap and clean any excess oil with a clean shop rag. Next, press the movable sheave onto the jack shaft until fully seated. Then, install the shim onto the jack shaft. Continue by reinstalling the stationary sheave onto the jack shaft and align the rollers. Then, rotate the movable sheave back and forth while pushing in until fully seated. Continue by reinstalling the washer and fastener and torquing to specification. Next, insert the clutch spreader tool into the driven clutch and turn clockwise to spread the clutch. Before continuing, ensure the part number on the belt is facing outward when installed. Then, begin installing the belt over the drive clutch, and then continue walking it over the driven clutch sheave. Then, remove the clutch spreader tool. Continue by spinning the clutch 5 to 7 times to help seat the belt on the sheaves. Next, install the small grommet into the belt holder and press the bottom of the holder in to seat the retention point. Then, reinstall the fastener from underneath the body trim and secure with the retained nut. Continue by tightening the nut to specification. Then, insert the belt holder latch and turn it to secure the holder. Next, press the body trim in to secure the retention tab. Then, reconnect the side panel trim and reinstall the spreader tool. Next, reinstall the side panel by inserting the upper tab and pivoting in to engage the lower tab. Then, latch the 3/4 turn latches to secure the panel. Next, start the engine for 10 seconds to allow the engine oil to circulate. Then, remove the side panel again. Continue by removing the oil cap and wiping the dipstick with a clean shop rag. Then, reinstall the dipstick until fully seated. Continue by removing the oil cap and checking the oil level. The oil level should be between the lower and upper mark on the dipstick. Add additional oil as needed to reach the proper level, but do not overfill. Then, reinstall the oil cap until fully seated. Next, start the engine and allow it to warm up to operating temperature. Then, ensure there are no leaks coming from the reservoir, crankcase drain plug, or oil filter adapter. Continue by stopping the engine and allowing it to sit for 10 seconds. Then, restart the engine and allow it to idle for 10 seconds before stopping. Next, remove the dipstick and wipe with a clean shop rag. Then, reinstall the dipstick until fully seated. Continue by removing the dipstick and checking the oil level. The oil level should be between the lower and upper mark on the dipstick. Add additional oil as needed to reach the proper level, but do not overfill. Then, reinstall and tighten the dipstick. Next, reinstall the side panel by inserting the upper tab and pivoting in to engage the lower tab. Finally, latch the 3/4 turn latches to secure the panel. For more information, see your authorized Polaris dealer or visit Polaris.com.